Assalamu alaikum to our students. How are you all? In previous lecture, we studied about cathode rays and discovery of electron, and we will find out. Here is the procedure. First is the heading of introduction, which is start from in 1895 to very low pressure. Then it will the second heading introduction. After introduction is experiment, and he took a glass tube fitted with two metallic electrodes which were connected to high voltage battery, and it set the apparatus like this. It filled the gas molecules in the discharge tube and put two metallic electrode in the discharge tube and connect it with the battery. And when the current is provided, there are two metal electrode which is connected to negative terminal of the battery is called cathode, and which is connected to positive terminal of the battery is called anode. And when it pass electrons through it, and when they pass current through metal electrodes inside the tube, inside the glass, in the gas molecules inside the tube, glass tube, and it start to become ionized, and a beam of electron is produced. Beam of shiny rays is produced at that time, and the scientist studied about the nature and properties of these rays, and then he find out that these rays are having negatively charged particles, and these rays are called electron. So next, third heading is properties of cathode rays, which is are starting from here. The cathode rays are studied in detail and their properties were determined, which are given below. These rays travel in straight lines perpendicular to the cathode surface. Listen girls, you can see here. First heading is traveling in straight line. These rays travel in a straight line perpendicular to the cathode surface because they are originate, and they are produced. The rays travel in a straight line perpendicular to the cathode surface, casting a shadow. Casting लिखा हुआ है, you can write casting of shadow A. They can cast a sharp shadow on a weak object if placed in their path. And third heading is deflection in electric field, because they can cast a sharp shadow on a weak object if placed in their path because they have mass, and that's why when they have mass, that's why when they pass through any object, it can cause an shadow of an opaque object. Opaque mean massive object. Deflection in electric field, they are deflected towards positive plate in an electric field, showing that they are negative charge, because they move in the electric field from the negative to positive terminal. They are attracted toward the positive field. That's why it showed that they are negatively charged, because positive and negative charge attract each other. Next, fourth property is rise in temperature. The rise temperature of the body on which they fall. And fifth is the AEM ratio. E mean electric charge and mass ratio. Thomson discussed their charge E and mass M ratios. Light is produced. Production of light. Sixth heading. Light is produced when these rays hit the sides of the discharge tube. And seventh heading is the nature of cathode. It was found that same type of rays were emitted no matter which gas and which cathode was used in the discharge tube. It's mean we know that what does it mean? We know that every particles is made up of every element is made up of atoms, and atoms contain electrons. So electrons in all the atoms, number of electrons, and electrons are in all type of molecules and elements are same. That's why if it was found that the same type of rays were emitted, it's no matter which type of gas and which type of gas are we used in discharge tube, but we are using a discharge tube, the production of rays in the discharge tube is same. it does not depend upon the matter. It depends on the electron and number of and electrons have same nature in all elements and in all compounds. That's why it does not depend upon the nature of matter. It was found the same type of matter no matter which gas and which cathode was used in the discharge tube. Conclusion: all these properties suggested that the nature of cathode rays was independent of the nature of the gas present in the discharge tube or material of cathode. The fact that they cause the shadow of an picture suggested that there are no rays but they are the fast moving particles. They were given the name electrons because they cast a shadow. That's why we can say that they are not rays but they are material particles. Since all the material produce same type of particles, it means all the particles contain electrons. We have already discussed that because all the elements contain same type of electron. That's why the same type of rays are produced. And from this experiment, they predict that if all the materials produce same type of rays, it's mean all materials contain electrons, because at that time we don't know about the presence of electron. As we know, materials are composed of atoms, hence the electrons are fundamental particles of atoms. It's mean from this experiment we can also know that if all the atoms, if all the electrons are are composed of atoms, if we know that materials are composed of atoms, hence the electrons are fundamental particles of atoms, because electrons contain every element contain of electrons. That's why we can say that electrons are fundamental particles of atoms.